Before we begin this video, I recommend that you visit google.com and search for dinardata.com. This website is a great resource for the latest updates on Dinar Guru news, all conveniently located on one page. For more information, I encourage you to visit the site.
Crises and events await Iraq if Trump wins, and the reason is Iran's influence. Iraq halts plans to cut zeros off dinar currency. Cabinet article quote, Iraq has over 3 trillion Iraqi dinars in circulation. Plan to trim zeros not seen as priority. Iraq has decided to hold off a plan to knock 3 zeros off the nominal value of the bank notes. Who's the person who said that? Oh, yeah, me? Quote continues, because it doesn't believe the economic climate is suitable, the central bank said last August it planned to redenominate. Isn't that what I said it was called? A redenomination, lopping off the zeros, deleting the zeros, whatever you want to call it. It's a redenomination. Quote continues, the Iraqi dinar to simplify financial transactions in an economy that is still heavily centralized and dominated by oil and where deals are carried out in cash. As usual, I am right about that and they are wrong. All the executive levels of the banks in Iraq are going to sit down with the governor of the CBI Alak and receive instructions on the new currency next week. An explosive message from the US Congress to Biden, Iraq is smuggling Iranian oil and the minister may be accused. Quote, the US Congress sent an important message to President Biden regarding the smuggling of Iranian oil through Iraq, while threatening to impose broad sanctions against Iraqi oil. An explosive message from the US Congress to Biden, Iraq is smuggling Iranian oil and the minister may be accused. New commercials on TV about global partnership and stability and security of our economic future. One after another commercials are saying we are stable and secure and how we are open for international companies to come in and invest in Iraq. The whole world is pouring in. This is happening at a very fast pace and we don't even have Alak here in our country. I want to begin with an assurance to everyone that this RV is going to take place soon and is going to be what we expected. There is no way in hell that Iraq is going to move ahead to what they want to do with this country without a globally traded currency and a currency that can compete with many of the other Middle Eastern countries. The opportunities are just too far great to pass up. Question, are we going to banks or redemption centers? Marks, they are the same things. The redeeming banks/redemption centers are bank locations with trained staff and equipment to handle our exchanges. I was told 90% of Americans will have an exchange location within 50 miles of their house. If you are in remote rural areas, you may have further to go, not sure about other countries. Where is Alak right now? The same place where President Donald Trump is at right now, New York. Where are we? We don't like to spread rumors. We don't like to give out misinformation or unqualified information. That's why we stick to what we know. What we know and put out comes from the articles, and gracious me, what do they tell us about where we are? They tell us we have never ever been in a better place than we are now. We are there, at the finish line. This should be our weekend. Anytime, before Sunday? The Parliamentary Investment and Development Committee expected, today, Saturday, to pass the Industrial Investment Law within the next 2 weeks in Parliament, while it spoke about the advantages and positives of this law. The deputy head of the committee, Hussein al-Sabri, said in an interview with Sumeria News, Parliament will approve the Industrial Investment Law within 2 weeks. And this law is one of the most important laws that serve the industrial investor in Iraq and raise the pace of industrial movement in the country, indicating that this law includes customs exemptions and land ownership for the investor inside and outside the cities, with the precise identification of industrial areas within the cities. Al-Sabri added, the law also includes the protection of foreign investors, their money and ownership within new industrial districts and areas with certain controls, noting that the law is currently in the linguistic and legal amendment stage in preparation for presenting it to Parliament sessions within 2 weeks for the purpose of voting on it. Al-Sabri considered that the approval of this law represents a qualitative leap in Iraqi industry, noting that the law will greatly reduce exceptions, but rather there will be fair competition between companies and entities that win project contracts. MP Yasser Hashem considered, today, Saturday, the railway development contract signed by the Ministry of Transport as the theft of the century in Iraq. Hashem said in a statement to Al-Maluma agency, the Iraqi government will give the company implementing the project $22 billion in addition to oil or one of the natural resources to build iron cars only, indicating that the Ministry of Transport has assigned the same implementing company to operate it for 43 years, and this is a disaster. He added, this contract will mortgage the railways to the private sector and will cause great harm to this sector, in addition to Iraq losing a lot of money, at a rate that may reach 90%, describing this theft as the theft of